Hey, Nick, can we start the meeting now? We are ready.
Everybody, I was working on getting business
Ready?
and Sizzler.
We're going to call this meeting to order
I told you about that one.
at 9:03. And let's see, is there any additions to the agenda?
There are no
Oh,
additions.
yeah, he did.
Okay. Can we just introduce County Council, what we're going to do in closed session?
Yes, thank you, Chair and members of the board.
Yeah,
There is a request
really
to
did.
move item 2B, the existing litigation on the BNSF Railway Company, to your next meeting of April 12th. We're awaiting a final settlement agreement for your review.
That's
which would-
to be,
Yes,
to be or not to be?
right. And so I
Okay.
will just read in Government Code Section 54957.6, conference with labor negotiators. Your agency designated representatives are Alba Gomez and Susan Carter, and the employee organization is all units. Thank you.
Oh, easy one.
Yep.
Any public comment? Seeing none, we'll go in there and see what we got going.
It's amazing to me. Guys decide to run against you and they've never been.
We are ready.
Okay, we're ready.
Either one.
I like hitting that
They
hammer.
don't know what I do. They don't know my.
Everybody, please take their seats. We'll get to rolling here. That includes you, Matt. Okay, his in-laws are here, so we gotta keep him in line, so I'm gonna make sure we do. So anyway, thanks for everybody for coming. This great Tuesday morning, I think it's the 5th, isn't it? Is it April 5th?
Correct.
4 days past April Fool's Day, so I guess we can't do no joking going on here. So anyway, we're gonna open and close this meeting in memory of a few people. First one is our fellow board member, Vern Moss from Chowchilla, passed away last week, was it, I think? Yeah. And when I first got elected in 06, we started in 07, we were still in the old building down there. It was a dungeon. I hated it down there. But when they would come here, I sat there where Rob sits now, and Vern sat here. And it was a rough year for me that first year because everything I thought would be neat to try to do, he'd just look at me like this and say, Wheeler, get used to it. That's the way we've always done it. It took me a while to convince him that maybe that's not the way we always should do it. So but we're all going to miss him. He was a great board of supervisor here, and I know other people are probably going to say something about him too. But if you want to do it now, before I say any more, go ahead.
Yeah, I knew Vern
Dave
very
took his
well.
place.
Yeah, I served with Vern on the Chowchilla City Council for
Oh,
4 years, and Lieutenant Colonel Moss.
yeah.
He served under the Joint Chiefs of the President of the United States. So he was quite credentialed. He was a very knowledgeable businessman. He did everything very military. He served actually in 3 branches of the military. So kind of an unusual person in that regard. But I had many conversations with Vern through the years. He was a very exacting person and tried to run his life that way, very so. And I admired that about him because he got things done, and he was a goal-oriented person, very planned. And he planned his retirement perfectly. He had like 4 different retirements coming in when he retired. So that was quite I always thought that was quite amazing. He he planned all of that out way in advance. I don't know how you think about things like that, but we will miss Vern, and he was a very affable person in the community. He always served every committee you can imagine he served on, and including chamber and et cetera, et cetera. Was a Rotarian. I believe he was in almost every, even Lions. I think he served in both. He not only did that in his career, but he did it in the community too. So he served in everything. We'll miss him.
One of my favorite stories of Vern was, or not stories, but seeing him, he would continue to go to CSAC even after he was off of the board.
Right.
And it seemed like he was only there for one day, and it was the day when it was the where all the vendors came out, and he would get every single pen, every single notepad, every single squishy ball, every single fan. I mean, he would have like 2 bags walking through, hit every single one as he went down, and got a little piece of swag from every single one. And I don't know where he kept them or what he did with it all, but I don't know. But
Yeah, he had a couple of bedrooms full of that
yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
We'll miss you, Vern.
Anyone else?
Yeah, just I met Vern when I first started working at the county back in 2007, and so he was quite the statesman, very wise. There's oftentimes when I'm sitting here in this very seat where he sat, and I think to myself, what would Vern or the old guard, Max, and just I think about them, and so yeah, he will be missed. Very, very, very kind. And I was very saddened to hear that he had passed.
What she's saying, Tom, is she's trying to figure out how to get it back the way they always did it before you screwed it up.
Right. Right.
I remember his single question. He would always breathe out before he'd say something, and even in the mic, he. Are you behaving yourself? And I'd say never.
Yeah. Right.
Thank you. Yeah, he was very regimented, very consistent. I always tell what time of year it was if I didn't have a calendar, because I would be at where the bank where I used to work, and I'd see him pull in and park and start walking to the office. And I knew, he's here to sell me the $100 Rotary ticket for Chowchilla. And sure enough, he'd walk in and I'd say, "Hi, Vern. I'm so happy you're here. I want to buy that Rotary ticket." "Well, thank you." And then he'd ask me what we're paying in interest, and I'd say, "We're paying about 2%." And he says, "Well, they're paying 2.25% down the street, and I've got $10,000, and if you can match that, I'll bring it in." And I'm like, "Thank you, Vern. Yeah, 4 pensions, and he's worried about 1/4%." Anyway, thank you.
And he did all the time when he was selling his house in Chowchilla and moving to wherever he moved to. I never did really figure out where he did, but he knew I had a lot of Indian artifacts, and he said he had some stuff down here, and I ended up, some of the stuff I still got to sit just in the corner because I really didn't want it, but when you got around him, you usually bought it. So, and then if I'd buy something, he'd hand me something else for free. But he had 2 bedrooms full of anything you could think of. I mean, it was amazing. So he was a good guy, and he done a lot for Chowchilla and for this board and for Madera County. So, and then the next one I have on here on my list is Bill Jaquette. He's from North Fork, and he bought Vincent's old sawmill cabinet making place there on the Wiley Ranch Road, where I lived for many, many years, 40-something years, and he had a terrible accident. His pickup rode over him, and it was bad right there in his yard. So he can be missed. And then this other friend is a contractor up at Korsko. We all called him Kaz. Kulwoski. I'm not even try to say it's the long spelling, but he went golfing with some friends of ours. We'd go Saturday, and he got home and he had a heart attack and died. He's in really good shape. I mean, that guy was a tough sucker, and he passed away. And then my very, very good friend, Paula Starner, her husband, Bob, had a CPA that was up there, and he started doing my taxes clear back in the 60s. And he passed away quite a while ago, but she's had MS for years and been in a wheelchair, and he passed away Sunday night. So her daughter Julie and Tim, and two sons Tim and Fritz, we've done many things over the years together, and he really respected lady there in Oakhurst. So rough week, couple weeks actually. So any other ones? Good. Thank you everybody again. And today, Xavier Sanchez, the pastor for what church is it? I'm sorry.
Iglesia Cristina Batista.
You get it right? You got it right. And Ryan, would you like to do the flag salute for us today? Thank you. Stand, everybody. There's a button right there on that if you want. What's on?
Good morning, everybody. I'm going to pray in Spanish, okay? Padre, en el nombre maravilloso de Cristo Jesús. Te damos gracias por este meeting que vamos a tener en esta tarde, esta mañana, Señor amado. Bendice y da sabiduría a los supervisores, Señor amado. Que todo lo que se haga aquí, Señor amado, bendito Dios, sea para bien. Bendito Dios a tu pueblo de madera. Bendícelos, Padre Santo, y da sabiduría, inteligencia. Oh Padre, en el nombre maravilloso de Cristo Jesús, que tu gloria, Señor amado, en esta mañana, Señor amado, se derrame en este lugar, Señor amado. Ten cuidado de ellos, bendito Dios, para la gloria y honra tuya. Te alabamos y te damos gloria, Señor amado, juntamente con este remanente que se ha reunido en esta mañana, Señor. Bendícelos, guíalos y pon paz en el nombre de Jesús. Amén. Amén.
Always good in any language.
Ready, salute.
Thank you, Xavier and Ryan. I appreciate that very much. Well, we're going to open up the meeting for the public comment. Item number 4.
The first 15 minutes of each regular session are set aside for members of the public to address the board on any matter under the jurisdiction of the board but not appearing on the agenda. The board will not take action on any items presented under public comment. Speakers are limited to 3 minutes. Anyone addressing the board is asked to print their name clearly on the speaker sheet at the podium and state their name and county of residence for the record.
Good morning, Chairman, members of the board, Dexter Marr, Environmental Health. Last Monday, Governor Newsom signed an executive order. Under that executive order, it actually impacts water well permitting statewide. So as Environmental Health, who's the regulatory agency for well permitting, there are certain processes that we are going to start implementing. Under the executive order, which number 9 states that a county shall not approve a permit for a new groundwater well or for an alteration of an existing well in a basin subject to SGMA without first obtaining written verification from a GSA managing the basin that the groundwater extraction would not be inconsistent with management established in the GSP. With that said, I also wanted to also let everybody know that under the executive order, this shall not apply to permits for wells that provide less than 2 acre-feet per year of groundwater for individual and domestic users, or that will exclusively provide groundwater to public water supply systems as defined in the Health and Safety Code. So this executive order only affects ag wells. So one of the requirements, an outreach that we're actually doing right now is we will send out an email to all the contractors in the county, to all the GSAs in the county about our well permitting process. What that entails is all well applications that come in the county, ag wells, will have to go through the GSAs for verification first before Environmental Health can issue a well permit. So we will reach out to all the well contractors and the GSA managers actually today to let them know the process that we're implementing. I did request Water and Natural Resource to post it on their website as well, and we'll have it on Environmental Health's website, all the forms that's needed in the application process. Working with county council. So I've been working with county council. We have drafted a verification form. It's a real basic one-page form that just requires a signature from the GSA manager before a well application permit can be processed through environmental health. Working with IT. So I'm also working with IT. We're trying to create a GIS layer in the GIS system for the county. So any applicant can go to this site, put in the assessor parcel number, and it will trigger which GSA it is and which GSA manager to contact to obtain this verification form. Once they get that verification form signed, submitted to environmental health, and we will process that permit.
Is this,
Second, county council.
Thank you, Chair. Moving back to item 2, there is no reportable action from closed session.
Oh, I'm sorry. Screwed up, didn't I? Oh, okay. I guess I'm the boss, huh? Supervisor Rogers.
Yes, it sounds very much to me like the governor's legislating, and that is not his job. I'd like an opinion from county council in the future, a written opinion as to the legality of the governor making law. This is a law. We're going to be implementing an executive order. This is not under some kind of a special emergency here. This is something that we've been working on for years, and suddenly we're going to implement an executive order. I'd like an opinion on that written, not necessarily right now, but before we start implementing all the governor's whims. Thank you.
Supervisor Frazier.
I was going to say something similar, but I also want a question. Is this on just new wells or replacement and rehabs? What is?
So this will actually be for new wells or reconstruction of any wells, ag wells.
Already in existence.
Yes, correct.
Questions? No.
And also, thank you, Supervisor Rogers, for that. So, yeah, we have no problems. We can hold off on this until county council gives us direction.
I
That's not a
appreciate
problem.
that. Thank you. Yeah, no,
As we
that's
can
not
legally.
not directed at you at all. I just, I feel that it's important that we maintain constitutionality here. And it seems we've departed from the Constitution over and over again for various reasons. So we've got to hold the governor, the legislature responsible for their actions. And he's not a legislator. He's the executive branch. And this is legislation, in my opinion. So
Okay.
where does it fall? Anyway.
Supervisor Poitras.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would just ask that we bring this back under an agendized item so we can discuss it in
Yeah, thank
with
you.
more information and.
Good idea. So we'll put that on next week's agenda.
Good
Very
idea. Thank you.
Okay. Anything else,
Great.
Dex?
So that's all.
Thank you. Jamie.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Jamie Bax with Community and Economic Development. Just a bit of good news. The county was awarded the Sustainable Transportation Planning Grant from Caltrans. We were before your board sometime last year with the application proposal. The amount of the grant is $450,000, and this will allow for us to initiate the specific planning process for relocation of the Amtrak station to the Avenue 12 corridor and placement of the high-speed rail facility. So we are excited to get this up and running. I want to thank all of those who participated and submitted letters recommending the grant, including the City of Madera, the San Joaquin Joint Powers Authority. We had Dan Levitt helping us a lot with the application, and MCTC as well. So thank you.
Just so you know, if Vern Moss was here, he'd be fighting it. He worked his tail off to get where we are.
That's exactly right.
That was his
Yeah, he
baby.
would.
But we know that it's got to be at the right place at the right thing.
Right.
So that's where we're moving after this grant. Thanks to Brett, he's got us a few $1 million to build
20.
it. So
20 million.
20 million. So that's a little bit of more than a few million.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I thought you said
Thank
2.
yeah, Thank you too for that
You
hard
put a lot of
work.
work in on that, Supervisor Frazier. Thank you.
Did.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jamie. Any other public comment? None from the public. That was all our staff giving stuff, so, but it's the same time we do it, so. Thank you, everybody. Okay, moving to item number 5. Consent calendar. Any questions on the consent calendar?
Move to approve?
Second.
We got a first and a second. Any public comment on the consent calendar? Seeing
We have-
none,
we
roll
have-
call. Huh?
I'm so sorry. We have an online public comment.
Oh, okay. Well, let's do this vote first.
No, it's a public comment.
Oh,
Is
on
it
this?
for
On the
public
consent
comment
calendar.
or for consent calendar?
On the consent
was-
calendar?
Yes, hi everyone.
Public comment.
Okay. Hello?
Hi everyone, sorry, I wasn't sure when to start. This is Leticia with Leadership Council. I wanted to comment on 8398. This is for the expenditure plan for Measure D.
I couldn't hear what she said.
The 8398, the expenditure plan for Measure T.
Letters.
Huh?
Letter.
It's
Go
88.
ahead.
Oh, okay, perfect, thank you. So, hi board members. So we wanted to talk about the expenditure plan. We discourage the board from accepting this new expenditure plan for the following reasons. So first, the flexible program is set aside for regional programs. However, instead, the program should be allocated under the local category so that sidewalks, crosswalks, and communities can directly benefit from the Measure T dollars. I will add that the improvements can also fit the categories that help with ADA compliance. Second, the surplus funds should fund projects that would improve community infrastructure. That being said, residents want to see Measure T funds used for La Viña mobility study, and residents in Fairmead want to see improvements near their schools and their homes because currently the area is dangerous for children to walk to school. And yeah, thank you.
Anything else? None? Okay, now we'll take the roll call. Thank you.
Supervisor Rogers?
Yes.
Supervisor Gonzalez?
Yes.
Supervisor Frazier?
Yes.
Supervisor Poitras?
Yes.
Chairman Wheeler?
Yes.
Vote passes 5-0.
Okay, well, we'll move to item 6.
6A, presentation of a proclamation celebrating 100 years of the first charter of Lions Club of Madera.
100 years. Whew. Who's been in the Lions Club for 100 years? Oh, he has been? Oh, she's pointing to him. Look at not her, him. You got that, Brett?
Yeah, so I'll read the proclamation. We'll come up to the front, but I just want to thank the Lions Club for everything they do for our community. And you always see them out and about doing things. And I think it's very fitting that the mission of the Lions International is to serve. And you all are doing that here in Madera. We really appreciate all that you do. And so, do you want me to read it, Karen? Oh, yeah, I forgot it. Whereas the local Madera chapter of Lions International members follow the mission by providing valuable time and effort to improve the community through the support of small businesses, youth education and recreation, veterans and Madera residents in difficult situations. And whereas the local Madera chapter of Lions International has 2 active clubs, Madera Breakfast Lions and Madera Evening Lions, and whereas the centennial history of the local Madera chapter of Lions International is a long one, for 100 years, the chapter has served with uncommon kindness, putting the needs of neighbors and community first. And whereas the local chapter, Madera chapter of Lions International, will continue to power kindness in action as they move into their 2nd century of service. Now therefore be it proclaimed, the Board of Supervisors of the County of Madera, State of California, does hereby proclaim March 2nd, 2022. Also, you're 100 years in 1 month now. Anniversary of the first charter of the Madera Lions Club in Madera County, signed by all of our hands. Does anyone want to come up and speak?
One that's been in the most years. 100 years. You don't look 100 years old. That's okay.
Too much serving.
That's it.
Wait, I've always wanted to do this. All right. On the behalf of the Lions Clubs, the Madera Evening Lions Club and the Madera Breakfast Lions Club, thank you for honoring 100 years of service by Lions Clubs to Madera. It says a lot about Madera as a community that both our service club, the Lions Club, and the Madera Rotarians go back 100 years. And it says a lot that there has always been that core heart of service and returning to the community. And we work hard to service our fellow citizens of Madera the best we can. Thank you.
Thank you, Wally. Apologize with the new knees. It's kind of hard to get up sometimes.
Yeah.
I've been in Madera Breakfast Lions 44 years now. And I got to tell you that when I first moved in Madera, this was my first family. Didn't know anybody here. I came from that big town down the street, Merced. But what I've always appreciated about not only us, but the
Excuse me for a
Rotarians.
second. That's $10, Dave.
Oh, yeah.
Dave's one's ringing.
Hey, I turned mine off. Come on.
I think it's,
$10.
no, it's 20, 10 to the Lions and 10 to the Rotary.
That's right. And he has to come out personally and deliver it.
I'll give you both $100 today.
I'll take it. We'll take it.
He's running for re-election. Otherwise, it would have only been 5 each.
Can we get the Fair Political Practices Committee? Anyway, in all the years that I've been doing this, I have never had one time where it's not been just a joy to serve our community. It's been fun to not only represent us here, but in the state, in the international setting at our Lions International Conventions. They know where Madera is, they know what Madera is, and you folks, along with the other service clubs in our community, are what makes that happen. Thank you for recognizing us.
Thank you.
No problem. We gotta get a picture with you.
Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you. Appreciate it. Nice. I still work for a living.
Okay, item number 2, 6B. And if you guys notice, we kind of all got Levi's on and everything else except for Farmer John down here. He's a corporate farmer, so he wore his suit. So thank you, Farmer John. I mean,
He must be one of those big corporation farmers.
right. Exactly. That's really, we love you.
6B, presentation of a certificate recognizing March 22nd as National Agricultural Day.
Well, just hold on a second. I've got something I need to take a bite of.
The farmers have got to get their energy, you know, before they do anything, so he's got to do that first, so.
Must
that's
be a
his
piece of
donut.
dessert.
This is a product of agriculture, right?
Yep.
It's something that I'm not sure if everybody realizes, but anybody who eats on this planet is part of the agricultural process. You know, many times we look at it as our farmers, our farm laborers, our processors, our distributors, and so forth, but really, everybody in this room is part of that process. If we didn't have the consumer, people partaking, whether it's buying groceries at the grocery store or going to your favorite restaurant or fast way chicken or something like that, yay, all right. I mean, you know, it would be for naught. Food is one of those three items that we need to sustain our lives. We need water, food, and shelter. And agriculture is, in this county, is the number one industry. And unfortunately, there's a lot of times that we just kind of take it for granted. But you look around this room, and there's probably not one person here that does not benefit from our agricultural economy and or enjoy the benefits of what we grow, and whether it's here in Madera, here in the rest of the state, or in our nation. I wanted to point out something from the Fresno Madera Farm Credit 2021 annual report. You know, there's statistics that we supply 25% of this and 50% of that, but California is the nation's sole producer of these crops: almonds, artichokes, celery, figs, garlic, grapes or raisin grapes, kiwi fruit, melons, honeydew, nectarines, olives, clingstone peaches, pistachios, dried plums or prunes, sweet rice, clover, and walnuts. The number one producer. And then there's, of course, many other crops that we grow here that are grown in other places throughout the nation. So what I'd like to do is, we did National Agricultural Day was a few weeks ago, but unfortunately, we didn't have a meeting on that particular day or that week so that we could recognize National Agriculture Day. It was on March 22nd. But we do have a certificate of recognition to the Madera County Farm Bureau for their dedication and commitment to serving our precious agricultural community in Madera County. The Farm Bureau has been around for many, many years. It's been the fabric of our nation, and has really been a source of advocacy. In the state of California, we are all aware, regardless of the industry that you're in, about how difficult it is to do business here. You know, I don't care if you are an educator, if you work for government, if you work for any other kind of service industry. It's a very, very difficult regulatory environment, and agriculture is not exempt from that overreaching regulatory environment. So our local Farm Bureau has done a great job in advocating. One of their board members traditionally serves on the California Farm Bureau, and so that would be our voice in the California Farm Bureau organization. So with that, we do have a certificate of recognition. We have Christina Beckstead, who's the executive director of the Madera Farm Bureau, and we have Michael Naito, who is the president of the board of directors. So we'd like to have both of you join us in the front. And Christina or Michael, if you'd like to say a few words on behalf of I can see that they both want to speak, so they have a desire to speak, and I see that they're going, no, I want to talk, no, I want to talk.
Well, while she's coming up, you know, Madera County consistently hovers near the top 10 producers of agriculture in the state of California and the United States, which means the world. That's quite a remarkable figure.
Thank you. Thank you, supervisors, and thank you, Supervisor Poitras, for the recognition today. We really appreciate it. Madera County Farm Bureau has been in existence for 107 years, I think is where we're at.
Wow.
Yeah, 107 years. We celebrated our 100th anniversary in 2015. Came into existence in obviously 1915. And I'm grateful for the opportunity. I've been with Madera County Farm Bureau now for 6 years. And we work hard to advocate on behalf of the farmers because unfortunately, I think many people don't recognize that everything that they do kind of revolves around agriculture. I had the opportunity to speak with a group of folks at the, they do it in Fresno. It's the Governor Newsom started the 2-day
California
economic
Forward?
summit. California Forward, that's what it was. And I got to sit at a table with folks from our region, but I was the only one at the table that represented agriculture. We had education, we had health, we had business at the table, but no agriculture. And as we sat and talked about the things that we want to improve in our life, right, the common denominator, and I shared this with them, was water, right? You need water to have better schools. You need water to have better healthcare systems, right? And why is that? Because water brings people to the areas, right? It gives you food, and it provides for the existence of everything that we have. So it all circles back to agriculture. Life does. And so for that, we work really hard to advocate on behalf of our growers here in Madera County, as well as the state, both at a state level and a national level. And it is no easy task, let me tell you, because the regulatory burdens, I refer to it as the never-ending roll of red tape. And California, unfortunately, seems to be getting, the roll is getting bigger. So thank you.
We lead the nation, right?
We do.
In that,
We do.
unfortunately, so.
Unfortunately,
Yeah.
yes.
Now it's not just legislation, it's executive orders as well as part of the red tape. So.
Right, exactly.
But thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Christina. And Michael, we'd like to have both of you come forward, and we're going to get a picture.
Yeah, real quick, Rob, I wanted to say something. You and I were on that conference call, Zoom call with the Patriots Rail that they're trying to put in Merced, Madera, and the whole valley. And that's one of those things that we help benefit our farmers. If we could get that going, I mean, I got 2 pages of notes from that. And you were on it too, that's right. I forgot. I know.
She wondered about the track and the ball fields.
Right, exactly.
Because they were impacting farmland.
And plus you live near there too.
Yeah. So it's a deal so that if we could get this going, we actually put some money in it at the San Joaquin Air Pollution Board to do a study about 1.5 years or so ago to do a rail system to haul these containers instead of all the trucks, because that's what's given us 85% of our bad air in the valley. So we were working on that, and this was a great meeting with these people, and I'm glad they invited me, and you guys, whoever invited me, I appreciate it, Rob and Christine and those Merced County supervisors. So now we can go down and take a picture. I just had to say something about that.
Yeah.
So.
No, that's great. Thank you. I know.
Catch your flag.
I know, exactly. Exactly.
How can you center it if they keep moving that way?
Right, very good. Congratulations. Right, Michael.
Great day to be living in the biggest little county in the state of California, 6C.
6C, presentation of a certificate recognizing Madera Noon Rotary's 100 years of service to the County of Madera.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman, and it's my honor today to recognize the Madera Noon Rotary for their 100 years of service to our community. As Wally had mentioned earlier, it's just fantastic that we have these organizations who have given so much over the years, so many generations of members. It's interesting looking over the membership over the last 100 years and recognizing some of the names. And there's literally like 2 and 3 generations of family members who have been Rotarians. So it's truly a generational thing in our community. And you can't go anywhere in the community, as such as the case with the Lions Club or the Rotary Club, and not seeing the Rotary name somewhere on a park or some type of a project or something. And I think if we could spend the rest of the meeting talking about the contributions of both of the service clubs. But what I like to do is to have a little bit of fun this morning and find out how much Rotarians actually know about Rotary. So got a little quiz here. So first of all, what year was Rotary actually organized? In what city and who organized it? Paul Harris. 1905. Okay, very good. Where did Chicago? Yep, and there were 5 guys. Excellent. So now, where did the name Rotary come from originally? They're rotating the meetings, exactly, to the various business locations. You guys are geniuses. Man, this is
run for supervisor.
Exactly. Yeah. Absolutely. Well, excellent, excellent. So, who is the first president of the Madera Rotary Club?
Uh-oh.
Stumped them.
Uh-oh. It wasn't Tom Wheeler.
Interestingly enough, the person's last name was Harris. It was Del Harris in 1922.
Wow.
Very interesting. What year was the 4-way test organized or presented, or what year did it become part of Rotary, and who was it that came up with a 4-way test? It was 1932, and a guy named Herbert Taylor came up with the 4-way test.
We used to call him Herbie.
They call it the Herbie test. So, and it was, I looked up a few other things it was interesting. The Madera Tribune back in 1947 had a special, it was quite an interesting edition on Rotary celebrating the 25th anniversary of Rotary. And they had the different presidents, and there were names like, of course, Harris, Schmitz, the Jack Schmitz family. They had several generations that were members. In 1927 to 28, Nello Barsotti was president of the local Rotary. We have names like McCumber Pinion. There's Pinion over there. We have Irving Schnorr, who was in 1940 was the president. Fleming, Curtin and Fleming Insurance. Many of you remember that. So it's quite an organization, quite a legacy, and again, congratulations for your great achievements and for your work, and the best is yet to come, right? All right, good, because I look at those faces and I see energy and I see determination and I see service. So
tune in next week for another episode of No, You're Rotary.
Very good. And if there's no other comments with that,
Anybody got anything to say?
yeah, how about
Who's the president?
your president? Yes.
I'm a proud
Exactly.
Paul Harris fellow myself.
I've been a member of the Oakhurst Noon Rotary since 2006. I almost said 1906. I look that old, but I'm not quite there yet. But
Good morning, supervisors. Thank you so much for having us here. I'm Alexis Hicks. I'm this year's president, and it's an honor to be here but I have to say, can I take that paper and use as a cheat sheet for our noon
I'll get
Rotary
you
meeting
some.
today?
Exactly.
You guys maybe will know the answers by then, right? And more importantly, I'm honored to be a part of this club. They changed my life. My sister, a long time ago, 13 years ago, asked me to become a Rotary member, and I go, oh, sure, I have nothing else to do at noon on Tuesdays. But then I took a trip to Uganda and took books to school children. I know it changed their life, but it changed my life more than theirs. That's when I became a Rotary. So it's an honor to be here today, and we thank you very much.
I was nominated to say a couple of things on behalf of Rotary because I'm one of the longer-term members of our club. But I'd like to tell you that we have 3 members in our club who are very long-term. One of them is Steve Mortimer, who's here today, and he is 49 years. He joined when he was 12, I think.
Yeah.
And then you all know the Dalton family. The Dalton family historically was part of our Rotary Club, and right down to Clay Dalton now, who's been in the club for 50 years. And then we have Gary Gersh, of course, who is as old as the club. And but he didn't join until 50 years ago. I'm very proud to be a Madera Rotarian. When I was younger, there was a split off from the Madera Rotary Club to join to start a Sunrise Club because the younger members were tired of, I guess, the older members or whatever. And so they formed their Sunrise Club. Now they're the older club now, and but we still acknowledge them. So they're still part of us. We came off of the Fresno Rotary Club to start our first club here in Madera. So I think that was a big deal 100 years ago for a little town like Rotary to have Lions and Rotary start up in a community, and I think we've done great things. I just want to say that I'm very interested in downtown Madera, as some of you know, and we're very involved in renovating the park, the courthouse park, which is one of our come back to Madera kind of projects. And so as part of the work that we did there, our Rotary Club found that the first project in our club was that water fountain in the courthouse park downtown.
Wow.
And as part of the renovation, they asked us if we could get the water running again. But I don't know if we could do that. But we did in our club decide to give a present to the city and the county as a remembrance of us in our club. So in the renovation of the park, of Courthouse Park, there will be a large grandstand for outdoor performances for the arts. And on top of that will be a cupola. And in the cupola will be clocks that represent Madera Rotary and Sunrise Rotary here in town. So hopefully that clock will still work 100 years from now. But that'll be our gift to the city and the county as part of our. And then for Letitia especially, I just want to say that I joined the club in 1989 when the Supreme Court said that they couldn't keep us out. And so I was called by Jerry Barden, who I'd known from the school board in Madera. And he said, they passed this Supreme Court decision that said we had to take women. And so I thought we should find one that we could tolerate. So would you be helpful and join our club? And so I said, well, sure. Okay. Because I thought Rotary would be a good thing for me to belong to. It turned out it was a great thing for me to belong to. And I was the first woman. I was the first woman president. And now we're 50-50. We have 50% women and 50% men. And then I'll just say for all of us women, they couldn't do it without us. So it's a good thing they have us. So anyway, thank you very much for this honor. Thank you.
So I just have one question. Did they tolerate you?
Well, okay, there were the few that left.
Good riddance.
But I didn't hold it against him. And we built back stronger, so.
Excellent, fantastic. Well, very good. Well, Julie, don't sit down. Excellent. Well, a great one too. So we're going to get a picture right now, so come on up.
Yeah, let's get behind because.
Mr. Chairman, you're a Rotarian. Why don't you present the certificate? That'd be appropriate.